I'm Julie McConnell. I have been the director of the Children's Defense Clinic for the last 10 years. Before coming to the law school, I was a public defender for a number of years and also a prosecutor. I have been passionate about juvenile justice and children's defense my entire career.
My name is Karena Eidum. I'm a recent graduate of the University of Richmond School of Law, and I had the privilege of participating in the Children's Defense Clinic.
So the Children's Defense Clinic is a litigation-oriented, holistic defense opportunity for students to really find their passion in the law and hone those skills if they already know they want to be a prosecutor or a defense attorney or a guardian ad litem. But for many students, it's their first opportunity to really apply what they've been learning in law school, and at the same time, get to actually help bridge the justice gap and give people who otherwise would not have access to the courts an opportunity for zealous advocacy that will really help to turn their lives around.
I knew even before getting to Richmond my 1L year that I wanted to do a clinic while I was there, especially just, coming through straight from undergrad. Any extra experience is so beneficial. And I knew that the Children's Defense Clinic would provide me with invaluable experience by being able to directly work with and advocate for clients and also just interact with the court, all while making a positive impact.
We work on every aspect of a case. From the very beginning, we're thinking about what is the theme in this case? What do we want to present to the prosecutor, the judge, the probation officer, the witnesses, the victim in some cases, about who our client really is? How are we going to change the narrative? We do a lot of different types of cases in the clinic. We represent adults and children. We do civil and criminal. So we really do try to give the students an opportunity to see so many different kinds of cases so that they have lots of transferable skills to take with them into their careers. And so one of the types of cases that we do are what are called serious offender reviews. So these are individuals that were originally sentenced when they were juveniles for a very serious crime, who have gotten a juvenile prison sentence and then an adult sentence on top of it. It's referred to as a blended sentence. Under Virginia statutes, there is an opportunity for these young people to go back before the court after 2 years, and then subsequently every year thereafter until they turn 21, to try to show the court that they have in fact been rehabilitated, that they have turned things around, that they've grown out of their criminogenic thinking processes. And so we had an individual like that in the clinic this semester that I was very fortunate to have Karena be willing to work on. And this young man, he had committed a serious crime. It was a self-defense situation, but all the same, very serious. He had gotten a juvenile and an adult sentence. He did exceptionally well in the Department of Juvenile Justice. I don't know that I've had very many clients like this young man. He had absolutely no infractions in the juvenile justice system. He did everything that the correctional officers at the Department of Juvenile Justice and the mentors and counselors and therapists asked him to do. He, from the moment he arrived, did everything he could to turn his life around, to get back on a positive track, to think about what would he need to do to succeed in the community. And that's what we really try to tell our clients who are in this situation from the moment we meet them. You need to be thinking about what's going to happen when you get out, because you are going to get out. And how are you going to succeed in the community and be a productive citizen?
This client, he did everything in his power that he could do to take advantage of his time at DJJ. And so I wanted to do everything that I could do to make sure that he had the best possible hearing. And so, there's definitely that feeling of being inexperienced. And so it can seem a little bit daunting, but it was also very, very motivating. And so as preparation for the hearing went on, it definitely got a little bit more, a little less intimidating. And you always have Professor McConnell there whenever you need guidance. And she was so great to learn from. And through the clinic, you also have your clinic partner who you're assigned cases alongside. And so that's a really great resource to consult with your partner and bounce ideas off of them. And I also knew that I could reach out to my other classmates as well. As for the hearing itself, I thought that I was going to be so nervous. And I definitely was, but I think the adrenaline kicked in a little bit. It was a few hours long, but it went by so fast. And it was just a great experience from start to finish, being able to form my argument, prepare my direct examinations. I had a good amount of witnesses. I think 9 or 10. So there's a lot of people to prepare, and just preparing those direct examinations, kind of anticipating what some crosses might be, and all of it just being for real in front of a judge and actually helping someone was so great.
She was so strong in that hearing. She handled every witness with aplomb. She was not at all flustered by the fact that the prosecutor vigorously cross-examined one of our witnesses. She was ready. She came back with a really strong rebuttal. She had thought of everything. And it's a wonderful example of how preparation helps overcome any nervousness you might have.
It was really great being able to see it all the way through. And, when the judge was reading his order at the end, you just get so invested. And I was just trying not to get emotional when, the outcome ended up being what we wanted it to be. It was just such a relief. And, our client, he deserved that. And so I'm so glad that he got that. But it was definitely an emotional moment.
And I should also say that we did this hearing with our client and all of the witnesses, the vast majority of the witnesses, participating remotely. So Karena got to learn how to conduct a meaningful hearing that resulted in a terrific outcome by video. That's the era we're in now. The judge asked for the defendant to be brought to court, but the sheriff refused to transport him because of COVID. So he was participating remotely. So she had to have a strong enough connection with her client that she could do that over the video. And she had to help the judge to make that connection with her client over video. And that's an extraordinary skill to have developed in law school that will be something she'll be able to use throughout her career. She really helped the judge to focus in and pay attention to her client and learn who he really was in spite of the distance. That young man never set foot in the judge's courtroom during this entire process. So this was quite a victory on Karena's part to have convinced the judge, in spite of the prosecutor's objection, in spite of the fact that there had been a plea agreement in the case in the beginning that resulted in this outcome, the judge was willing to give our client a chance. And the reason he was willing to give our client a chance is A, that he's an exceptional young man, and B, that he had an advocate that truly helped the judge to see that he's an exceptional young man. And so we walked out of that courtroom knowing that the moment he turns 21, which is very soon, in just a few days, he will be released from the Department of Juvenile Justice to go home with his mom, to start his life in the community, to go back to college, to really pursue his career, and to put this behind him.
Every student should 100% either do a clinic or do an externship. I learned so much about the practice of law and also just about myself in general. Coming into my 1 a year, I was, afraid of a cold call, or even in my classes, I'm not the first one to volunteer or raise my hand. And so just being able to participate and put on a hearing was so confidence building. And I just definitely feel more confident in my skills as a lawyer. And this hearing in particular was my number one favorite thing that I did in law school. It was such a privilege to have this client place their trust in me as a law student. And it was so fulfilling for me to be able to be their advocate.
One of the things that I love the most about the clinic is to see students gain that confidence and to really know that they are ready. I mean, she's going to be a lawyer. She's going to be standing up representing clients or prosecuting them or whatever she ultimately decides to do very soon. And so giving her that opportunity to actually do that with a safety net is one of the things that I love most about the clinic. And students always rise to the occasion.